Here we go, some Friday the 13th part 5. Oh, oh, oh. Mm, mm. Oh, those damn enchiladas, guys. Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning, was released in 1985, directed by Danny Steinman, and starring Melanie Kinnaman, John Shepard, and Shavar Ross. Still haunted by his past, Tommy Jarvis, who as a child killed Jason Voorhees, is sent to a secluded halfway house in the countryside, where the killing of a young man triggers a brutal series of murders in the area. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Jason. You're watching Backtrack Cinema, and welcome to my review of Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning. So as we're trucking along on Fridays doing these Friday reviews, this will be the first Friday the 13th movie, though, in this series. This is the first one that I feel like I'm not the biggest fan of. There's moments I like in it, but there's a lot of stuff I don't like about it. Oftentimes, depending on my mood, I'll skip this one. For me, it gets back on course again with Jason Lives, but still plenty of stuff to talk about. I know there's a lot of fans of this movie who just absolutely love it. For the entertainment factor, I think if I was just judging this on the entertainment factor, yeah, I would probably grade it a little bit higher than I'm going to. But on other people, it's just a slog to get through. You know what I mean? So we're going to have a fun time talking about this, but more show and tell. And I made a mistake last week, guys. I showed you this last week as Ted White. This is not Ted White. This is actually the flashback Jason from part 5. You see the blood's coming down a little more. And we'll talk about that Jason design for sure. This is Ted White Jason, guys. So I'll real zoom in there. You see the cut on his face? Yeah, so this is the Ted White Jason. I thought I'd show you. It's pretty beautiful. And I don't have it on VHS, but there's the Scream Factory, Friday the 13th Part 5. Pretty glorious. That's not really my favorite cover of this movie. You know what I mean? But show you the back there if you don't have this already. So pretty cool stuff. But as far as the movie goes, let's just break this thing down. You know, as far as this story goes, we're following Tommy Jarvis a few years later as he has been kind of let out of the psych ward, and he's going to this countryside farmhouse where a lot of the people from, instead of a mental institution, they have a little bit more freedom to roam out in the middle of Crystal Lake somewhere, Wessex County, if you will. And these murders start happening again. And this is where we get copycat killer Jason Roy. I appreciate what they were trying to do here, doing something different. We get a copycat killer in Roy, and it's so obvious that it is Roy. When Joey gets killed, which is kind of a gnarly kill, the after fact of it all, you see the look on Roy's face. The camera's pointing right on him, showing that, yeah, he's our killer, right? And the big argument is, well, it's a better whodunit because, you know, at least you got to see Roy. But I still think the original Friday works better with just Mrs. Voorhees appearing out of nowhere than this movie. It's just more iconic. The performance is better and all that. But I do appreciate what they're trying to do, something a little different. What they're really trying to do in this movie is showing the breakdown of Tommy, how the curse is wearing him down, and how then by the end of it, he kind of accepts that he's the next Jason, that this, you know, violence, this breeds more violence. And I appreciate all that. It's just the execution they didn't handle very well. One of the biggest things I love about this movie is when Tommy Jarvis is in his own head all the time, where he's reaching for pills, he's seeing Jason all the time. And I love that design of Jason, like I showed you with the action figure. The flashback Jason, I think is gnarly. I think it's really simple, cool design, the mask, everything. Love all those scenes, and especially what's going psychologically with Tommy. So that part of the movie, I just think they kept him there too much. Like we should have got to know more. He should have started talking more. He should have started fighting back more, I guess. And it does open up with a pretty cool scene with Corey Feldman. They only had him for like a day or whatever, and it filmed in his neighbor's yard or something. And seeing these two guys dig up Jason, and it's like this nightmare sequence. I think that scene has some good atmosphere, and it's pretty cool stuff. I do buy that this is Tommy a few years later. I mean, I do buy that to keep his characteristics. You know, he's still this really silent guy struggling with the PTSD. He still has his mask. They still mean a lot to him. He's got the glasses on to give us some kind of like connection that, yeah, this is Tommy Jarvis still. I think John Shepard does do a good job. I think it's the writing department. We should have just, they should have made a more of a character arc here. But he learned some badass kung fu from Cobra Kai or whatever. Karate Kid was popular in '84. So I imagine this leaked into this movie somehow. There is a scene where Tommy, I don't know where he took his karate lessons, but man, he is going all out freaking Roadhouse against Junior here, played by Ron Sloan, and a scene out of this movie, you know what I mean? And the entertainment factor is high. You're really entertained by this movie, even if you don't like what's going on with a lot of the stuff that's going on in this movie, but you're entertained by all these trashy, quirky characters. Like, there is a lot of fun characters in this movie. You're entertained by, you're laughing at, you're just there for the ride, kind of. There's Reggie the Reckless, and we got the horny couple played by Deborah Voorhees, Tina and Eddie, which is probably one of the best kills in the movie that we'll get to. And we just got a lot of quirky characters in here. We got Ethel and her son Junior. I'm not big on Junior when he starts crying and he starts, he hurt me, Ma, he hurt me. I'm just like, oh, kill this person and shut this guy up. But Ethel is absolutely hilarious. She can't stand that these loonies are freaking screwing their brains out in her yard and everything, and she just wants to kill them. All that kind of stuff. It's all good stuff. You got a great little character in Reggie's older brother, the damn Enchiladas guy. Can't even remember the character's name. But he's really famous as Spider from Return of the Living Dead. Demon. I think his name is Demon in this. The whole outhouse scene is freaking memorable when he goes to take his shit. And he's like, ooh, baby, ooh, baby, ooh. It's so ridiculous, but it's so freaking funny and entertaining. But he really sells his death too. Like when he starts getting stabbed through the outhouse, he's screaming well. He's like, the tone really changes with him. And I think that's the sign he's just a good actor. You know what I mean? And he went on to really big things. Like he's considered a real respectable actor. This guy. So yeah. But we kind of get like three final people in this. Tommy Jarvis, who I feel just does not do a lot in the third act. Really, he's just stunned half the time. You know what I mean? Like Pam and Reggie do most of the work as far as my mind goes, right? And Reggie's a lot of fun. He gets in on the action, the little kid getting on the action, reminiscent of what Tommy did a little bit in part 4. Pam's not really my favorite final girl, but I wouldn't say she's the worst either. I like Pam's character actually quite a lot as a character. It's just when the shit starts hitting the fan and she's screaming at everybody, and I just think they could have toned her back a bit, or the director should have said, okay, this is a little over the top, let's tone it back. But I don't know. So it's only when she starts screaming, but when she's in control, and she's very much an in control character, knows how to handle the group of kids she's with. She knows how to lead. She knows how to take charge. So I just find she wasn't a person that would have just freaked out as much as she did, because near the third act she takes control and gets things done, right? So it's kind of a mixed bag with Pam, but I do like her. I do like her for her character. And my God, the editing in this movie. My wife watched this with me, and we're just laughing where her sweater falls off. Right? There's a scene where you see her sweater fall off. Then the next scene, she's running in the rain. It's on again, and then it's off again. You guys, you're big fans of this movie. You know the sequence I'm talking about. And in the editing room, I do not know what happened, but they like put the wrong sequence in the wrong order, kind of thing. Like, seriously, you could go in on your editing software, clip that scene, put it where it's supposed to be, and be good. It's just funny as hell, though. It's just like, oh, how did they miss that, man? I like to talk about one kill that I really like, or one sequence that I really like, and that's with Tina and Eddie, the sex scene. This is Deborah Voorhees, who went on to direct 13 Fanboy a couple years ago. Great little movie she did. So she became a good writer, good director in her own right. And she's Friday the 13th alumni, but her death and Eddie's death is really awesome in this movie, man. Like, it's the best of the movie as far as I'm concerned, where she gets the garden hedges in the eyes and he crunches them together. And it's like, it's a lot of ways you don't need to see it. It's just the sounds was awesome, right? And then Eddie gets like this strap along his eyes, and Roy, our fake Jason here, is tightening and tightening and tightening and tightening it until the strap breaks. And so it's really two awesome kills in this that I really enjoy. So there's some good stuff in this movie to be had if you're a Friday fan, if you're a slasher fan. If you're not into these kind of movies, you're gonna think this movie's garbage. I'll tell you that right away. Now, things I'm not big on, right? I just can't get behind fake Jason. I know they were trying something different, but in my Friday the 13th, I just want to see real Jason. I want to see Jason Voorhees on screen tearing it up. You clearly see in the design and everything that this is not a guy in coveralls. They got the blue chevrons, you know what I mean? I think the actor, like Tom Morga, I think he got uncredited for this. I think he did a very serviceable job. I think he was quite good as this copycat Jason. You know what I mean? But I want to see real Jason. That's why Jason Lives was so epic when they resurrect Jason, because yes, this is Jason Voorhees. You know what I mean? So a lot of that just brings the movie down for me. I really, at this point in the game, your fifth movie in, you're still following that same Friday the 13th formula right to a T, where this could have been something really, really different. You know what I mean? And really unique. They're kind of playing into the same exact beats. And I think by the fifth movie, we got to start at least change the style up or the tone. And that's a lot what Jason Lives does, right? It changes things up for better or worse. The kills are pretty much neutered in this. I mean, if you're going to have this Friday the 13th movie, you got to give us good kills, probably because the MPAA, this is where they're really cracking down on gore and stuff like that. And it's just, they cut away from these kills a lot, and then they give you this close up of their eyes. And so the movie does feel neutered in a lot. Not as neutered as New Blood, but pretty neutered still, except for Tina and Eddie's death, I think is a highlight. But so that's really a lot of it doesn't work for me. You know what I mean? You got to have good kills in these Friday 13th fun movies, right? But I touched on this before too. I think the third act's a little anticlimactical. Good for Pam and Reggie saving the day, but the way Tommy is just stunned and just lets Jason walk right up to him, slice him, you know what I mean? And then I'm just like, at this point, he should have grabbed the bull by the horns here, so to speak, you know what I mean? And I just find they just didn't do much with him. I mean, he does one thing that sends Roy off the barn and everything like that, but little of an anticlimactical ending. And then right at the end in the hospital, we see Tommy completely accepting this curse, basically, if you will, that he's the new Jason and he's hiding behind the door, ready to kill Pam, you know what I mean? And of course, for part 6, we know that he doesn't turn to complete evil, but definitely a cool idea to play around with. If you would have had a better director, a better story here, this could have been something very different. I can see why a lot of people love this one for its entertainment value, its quirky characters, all that stuff. But for me, it's really a hit and miss for me. I don't necessarily hate the movie, but I don't love it. No, this is the first Friday movie in the series I'll definitely skip a lot of times and get right to 6. You know what I mean? But it's kind of part of the Tommy Jarvis trilogy. So 4, 5, and 6 are kind of a nice, that's kind of what saves it, that Tommy is in it. You know what I mean? But I don't know, it's kind of like The Ugly Stepchild. It's kind of like the black sheep of the family, this movie, if you will. But a lot of people love it. A lot of people love it. So on your next Friday night, you want something a little different from your Friday the 13th movies, put on Friday the 13th Part 5. I guarantee one thing, you'll definitely be entertained, even though it's a fake Jason. I'm going to give Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning, a C-. What about you guys? What did you think of Friday the 13th Part 5? Do you love it? Don't you love it? Let me know in those comments below. We'll have a great discussion on Friday the 13th and this movie, Part 5, A New Beginning. I appreciate you all for watching. Go down the rabbit hole. Hit a like on the video, and all that really helps the channel out. I'll see you next time, and I'll see you in the movies. Cheers.